Have you ever gotten a flat tire? I'm sure everyone that drives has been in that situation before, and they'll either call someone else to help or, pay somebody. But I think that everyone should know how to do it themselves. My name's Alexander, and I'm going to teach you how to change your tire if you have a spare and if you have one, and the tools to do it. So, sometimes you might not know that your tire is releasing air, which I think is a problem that most of us don't realize until your car tells you. You come in right here, you'll see a little light right here. A semicircle with an exclamation point in the middle. What that means is that you have low tire pressure. Now, if you go outside and look at your tire, you might see that your tire is a little deflated. You might not. It might have a nail in it. You might have to get it patched. There's various different fixes for low tire pressure and all that stuff. But that's an indication that your car knows that it needs help. Now, if your car doesn't have one, which are mostly older cars that don't have TPMS sensors, which are tire pressure monitoring system, is that it allows you to know how many PSI or pressure are in your tire. Usually, my car has around 30 to 35 PSI of air inside of each tire. If we go outside and measure them right now, we'll see what they're at. Floor panel, you're gonna see a bunch of stickers. Those obviously you didn't put on there yourself, and they come from the manufacturer, right? So over here, you have all sorts of information for your car. The VIN number, where it came from, what car company made it, where it was made. Mine was made in Japan. But right here, it says tire and loading information. That's gonna tell you all you need to know about how much PSI to put in your car. Mine right here is 32. It also says the size of the tire in case you go to get new tires and, you need to know which ones you're getting and you have the right information. That way someone doesn't rip you off and give you a tire that doesn't go with your car. Now, the tire that has low pressure, we might not know, but we're gonna check right now. So if you come down here, you're gonna have this little valve stem. You're gonna take that out. With our cool handy dandy pen, that's how we're gonna know what it is at. So we press it in, that way it's at 0 PSI. And that's gonna tell us how much PSI is in it. If you look right here, it's almost at 28. That's like 4 under what it should be, but it's not too bad. For the sake of this video, we're gonna take this tire off and pretend to replace it. So usually your spare tire is underneath the bed of your trunk. Sometimes it might be in the front, depending on how much you spend on your car. The more expensive ones usually have the trunk in the front. But when you take everything out, you'll be able to access where the spare tire is. I have a lot of tools because I do a lot of my own work by myself, thanks to videos like this on YouTube. We're gonna need this later, so let's set this aside real quick. But right down here is where your spare tire is, and you can store all sorts of different parts down here. So even though sometimes you might need to buy your own tools for this, or if you have them, at the very least you'll know how to change a tire, which means that if you ask someone else for help, then you'll know whether or not they're doing the right thing or whether they mess up your tires more or not. So these parts usually come with the car, and it's a spare tire, which you should maintain within the right PSI. That way, if you do happen to have a flat randomly, you're not gonna have a spare tire that also has a flat. The PSI for a spare tire will usually be higher. Mine is around like 50 or 60 PSI as opposed to the regular 32. So this tool right here is gonna be to take off the lugs that hold your tire in place, right? Sometimes your car comes with lugs, sometimes you can buy nicer ones online and stuff. So it all depends. Just make sure you have the one with the right size lug. All this information is easily accessible online. I'm not going to put the spare tire on because I just took that off recently. I had a flat myself. But I'm going to take the tire off and then put it right back on just to show you, how to do it. So, your car might be low. No matter how low it is, you have to try to get underneath there to check where the points are for you to put the link. So you're gonna get right underneath and find a small metal plate, because if you hit anything that's plastic, like the bumper or anything like that, it'll break and then your car will drop, and you don't want that. Okay, so now we have the parts and tools that we need to take off or loosen the lug nuts. My car specifically, and a lot of tuner cars, usually have lug locks. That way someone doesn't try to steal your tires. So without this, you wouldn't be able to take it off. Make sure to always keep this in a place where you can remember it. Be tidy as per usual, but it takes a lot of force. It might be finger tight, which means that you can take it off with your fingers, but it might not be. Your fingers are definitely gonna get dirty, so if you want to avoid that, get some gloves or something. Wear comfortable clothing. It might be hot, it might be cold, I don't know. Pretending that this is a new wheel. You just put it back on and do the process all over again, making sure everything is tight, and then lowering the car. So we're gonna go through that now. You wanna line up, first you wanna clean this out, obviously, so you can see everything, if there's any issues, whatever. You wanna line this up to these parts of the wheel right here. It's gonna have these 5 nuts right here, or screws, whatever you wanna call them. Same way that you grabbed it earlier. You're gonna do this and just this is hard to do because you have to find the right spot at which to insert the lock. You're going to do this once again very carefully. You don't want your car to bust down super fast. Let all the air out. Air pressure canister. Like I said earlier, this tire has low air pressure, so what we're going to do is, technically speaking, after this, if it wasn't a new tire, which it isn't, you'd go take it to your nearby Wawa or gas station and get the air filled to the specifications that it says on your door panel, like I mentioned right here earlier, 32 PSI. Time being, your tire is changed, your tire is new, and you only got your hands minimally dirty. Now you just clean up, put everything back together, and that's how you change a tire. Thanks for tuning in.